Hello. Now tonight we're going to look at some very shocking reports, which are definitely going to be hard for some of you to believe. Nevertheless, all the claims we are making in this brief video are completely documented in our book, A Simple Crash Course on Islam, and you can get a sneak peek of the book at Amazon.com. This evening we begin by exposing the shadow government of Sharia law and how it establishes itself in unsuspecting countries beginning as Sharia creep. Now I realize many of you may not know what Sharia is. Sharia is the law governing all aspects of a Muslim believer's life. Regarding Sharia law, the Encyclopedia Britannica states, and I quote, "Islam has a wider application than any Western secular law, since it claims to regulate all aspects of life, duty to God, to one's neighbor, to oneself. It really is a system of duties, ethical, legal, religious, and governs not only the private life of the pious Muslim, but also criminal law." End of quote. The incorporation of Sharia law into a non-Muslim country is very dangerous because Quran-believing Muslims will never totally subject themselves to any humanly created constitution. When push comes to shove concerning our laws versus Sharia law, Sharia will always take precedence. It is the duty of Muslims to diligently work to incorporate Sharia law into their host country's legal system, usually by deception, beginning at first with seemingly inoffensive laws such as finance and family courts. But building on this, something curious is happening in America at our Ivy League law schools. Up until recently, they concerned themselves primarily with constitutional law. Harvard Law School, with the support from the King of Saudi Arabia, and Yale University, with the help of a millionaire Saudi businessman, have established schools of Sharia law. Now ask yourself, why do we need to instruct American attorneys on Sharia law to such a great extent? In addition to this, Sharia law and halal prepared foods are also filtering down into our public school systems. This is cause for concern, because once Sharia law is allowed into the secular system, it becomes difficult to remove. And as the population becomes accustomed to having Sharia law, it becomes even more likely it will eventually dominate the legal system. And sooner or later, it will usher in Islam as the overriding religion. And that's the goal of Islam, as is taught in Surah 8, verse 39. Muslims' reasoning is, because countries governed by constitutions are subjecting themselves to man-made documents, while Sharia law, according to Muslims, was created by Allah and given by Muhammad, therefore Sharia law, by its very nature, is above all man-made governments and laws, including the Constitution of the United States of America. For Muslims to think otherwise would be blasphemous, a condition worthy of death. Oh, but you say, there's no Sharia law in the United States. Guess again. There are many areas where Sharia law is taking precedent over constitutional law. Take, for example, this. During a Halloween parade on October 11, 2012 in central Pennsylvania, an atheist dressed as Muhammad and carrying a sign stating, "Zombie Muhammad," was brutally attacked by a Muslim immigrant. When charges against the Muslim attacker finally had its day in court, the outcome of the verdict was not what the man who was brutally beaten expected, because the ruling he got was based on Sharia law and not the First Amendment. The judge, an American Muslim, ruled that a physical attack on someone insulting Islam was a justified attack and that the hapless victim deserved what he got. To our knowledge, this ruling has not been reversed or even challenged. Sharia compliancy is also being enforced in America's Islamic-friendly public school systems, allowing for special prayer rooms and prayer times. Consider, we no longer can celebrate by name Christmas, which is an official holiday passed by Congress June 28, 1870, or Easter. They have become winter and spring breaks in our public school systems. Yet, on the other hand, many American school districts have begun designating Islam's only two holidays as officially sanctioned public school holidays. They are Eid al-Fitr, which celebrates the end of Ramadan, and Eid al-Adha, which celebrates when God tested Abraham by asking him to sacrifice his firstborn son Ishmael in Arabia, not Isaac as the Bible teaches on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Now here's a question for you. How would you like to have interest-free financing for your home or business? Well, Sharia financing is the answer, and it's come to a bank in your American neighborhood. You heard right. We now have Sharia law sanctioned financing, and because it's under Sharia law, a percentage of the transaction fees must be donated to Muslim causes, many of which are fronts for jihadi organizations. How can that be? Well, it began under the Bush administration and is now available for Muslims through Sharia-compliant banks, which include, get this, J.P. Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citibank, Dow Jones, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, and on and on and on. Finally, consider this. Islam means submit, and that's exactly what the United States Armed Services are doing, submitting to Islam and Sharia law. They do this by allowing exemptions for Muslim men to wear a beard and Muslim women to wear hijab while in uniform. Be forewarned, friends, this is only the beginning of the ascent of Islam in America, while the attacks on Christianity and Judaism have already begun. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm Dr. J.P. Sloane.